Welcome to the most terrifying corner of the universe. Up next are the 10 most extreme, most terrifying objects the universe has to offer. And before we dive in, let me say this straight up. Once you've sat through this, you'll never look at the night sky the same dreamy way again. Oh, the stars are so pretty. It'll be more like, thank God I'm still breathing today. 10. Tres 2b, the dark planet. Every dark fearer's worst nightmare. If you're scared of the dark, this planet is your ultimate nightmare made real. It's the darkest object humanity has ever laid eyes on in the entire universe. Its surface reflects less than 1% of light, making it blacker than the darkest charcoal Earth has to offer. Picture this. Shine a flashlight at it, and 99% of that light simply vanishes into thin air. It's like a gaping black hole hanging in deep space, greedily swallowing every last photon that dares come near. And yet, buried in that pitch-black void, scorching surface heat lets slip a strange glow, a faint blood-red shimmer. It looks exactly like the eyes of a demon, fixed in a silent stare into the abyss. What really gets under my skin is that flicker of red. Picture yourself drifting through space, swallowed by darkness on every side, and then, out of nowhere, far in the distance, a pair of red eyes slowly creak open and lock onto you. Yeah, no thanks, I'll just stay home. 9. HD 189733b, Glass Hell. From a distance, HD 189733b looks like a dazzling jewel, a gorgeous blue world, the kind of soft blue that instantly brings Earth to mind, our cozy home in the cosmos. But don't fall for that gorgeous disguise. Get seduced by its looks and dare to land here, and you'll pay for it with a body shredded to pieces, quite literally. That blue isn't some vast ocean teeming with fish, not even close. It's an atmosphere choked with suspended silicate particles, the very stuff glass is made of. Down in this hellscape, the sky never rains water. What pours down instead is molten, scorching hot glass. And here's the real kicker. Thanks to the brutal temperature gap between its scorched day side and its frozen night side, the atmosphere gets whipped into an absolute frenzy. Winds here scream along at 8,700 kilometers per hour, roughly 7 times the speed of sound. In other words, the searing heat overhead never lets the glass rain fall straight down. Howling, hurricane-force winds blast it sideways instead. 8. J1407b, the Super Saturn crushed under a giant's shadow. In our own solar system, Saturn earns its reputation as the prettiest planet, thanks to its stunning rings of ice and rock. Now blow those rings up 200 times bigger, and you get J1407b, a cosmic behemoth nicknamed the Super Saturn. Its ring system is so massive it stretches some 180 million kilometers across, wider than the entire gap between Earth and the Sunday. Stand on one of this planet's moons and tilt your head back and you'd be utterly floored. The sky wouldn't be a deep blue stretch dotted with stars anymore. It would be swallowed whole by a colossal cosmic ring. Turn whichever way you like. That's all there is to see. No angle offers an escape. No corner of the sky dodges the shadow it casts. Worse still, when this planet drifts in front of its parent star, much like the moon blotting out the sun during an eclipse, its rings are so enormous they can block out the star's light entirely for 2 solid months. Just picturing that scenario is enough to stir up one of the most primal fears buried deep in our brains. We evolved over millions of years under a wide-open, free sky. Strip that away and replace it with a towering cosmic structure looming like it's about to crash down on your head, and our brains simply short-circuit, unable to process or accept such a mind-bending reality. 7. WASP-12b, the Death Ball. This is ground zero for the cruelest death sentence in the universe. And here's the gut punch. The victim never did a thing wrong. Its only crime? Being born too close to its parent star. That tight orbit subjects it to a brutal gravitational stranglehold, a relentless, crushing tidal pull from the star it circles. Under that punishing force, it can no longer hold on to its proud, round shape. It gets wrenched and warped into a lopsided, misshapen blob, something closer to a battered football than a planet, and honestly, a pitiful sight to behold. But the tragedy doesn't stop there. The very matter that makes up its body is being openly ripped away by its own parent star. At a staggering rate of about 6 billion tons per second, WASP-12b's atmosphere and substance are being devoured, bit by bit, by the star that gave it life. Through the lens of the Hubble Space Telescope, it looks like a figure teetering on the edge of an abyss, a dying shadow, thrashing helplessly through its final gasps. Scientists have even managed to put a countdown clock on its demise. Within a few short million years, it will likely be chewed up and swallowed whole by its own mother star. A death sentence written in the stars, and a tragic one at that. 6. PSR B 1257 plus 12. The zombie planetary system, land of restless ghosts. Picture a typical planetary system, and you'll imagine a star sitting at the center, much like our own Sunday. That star blazes, radiates warmth, and gives the planets orbiting it a fighting chance at life. It's the beating heart of the whole system. But in PSR B12, 57 plus 12, that heart stopped beating long ago. At the center of this system sits the leftover core of a star that tore itself apart in a cataclysmic explosion. It's now a dead star, a pulsar, yet it spins on its axis at a dizzying, almost manic speed. Think of it as a cosmic lighthouse gone haywire, short-circuiting nonstop. Every single millisecond, with each full spin, it fires off blistering, high-energy radiation beams in every direction. Here's where it gets truly eerie. Circling that twitching corpse are 3 unlucky planets, still trudging along their doomed orbits. They exist, sure, but its existence lived out in hell. These 3 worlds are forced to absorb wave after wave of lethal light from that lighthouse, radiation so vicious it could vaporize any living thing the instant it made contact. Up here, the sky offers no warm sunlight, only deadly radioactive flashes sweeping across it on a loop. No miracle is coming, and not a single living cell stands a chance of surviving in this lonely, radioactive graveyard. 5. SGR 180620, the magnetar, wiped out down to the atom. Ask yourself, what's the scariest danger lurking out there in the universe? Heat hot enough to melt anything in its path? Catastrophic asteroid impacts erupting into walls of fire? Sorry to break it to you, but next to this beast named SGR 180620, all of that suddenly feels almost cozy by comparison. This thing is a magnetar, a magnetic star, and it wields the strongest magnetic field anywhere in the universe, thousands of trillions of times stronger than Earth's own. Get within a few hundred to a few thousand kilometers of it, and that monstrous magnetic field would stretch and tear your atomic structure apart at the seams. The electrons orbiting your nuclei would get crushed and forced into long, cylindrical shapes. The moment your atoms lose their shape, the chemical bonds holding together your bones, flesh, blood, and DNA collapse almost instantly. Your entire body would dissolve and break down into a haze of subatomic dust. You'd vanish without a trace, as if you'd never existed at all. Goal 2011, BLG 0462, Ghost Ranger, the Invisible Killer. Mention a black hole, and most people picture a glowing accretion disk lighting up the darkness around it. But this Ghost Ranger, officially tagged OGLE 2011 BLG 0462, breaks the mold entirely. It's a rare, isolated, stellar mass black hole. It has no companion star to feed off, so there's no glowing disk to give it away. It drifts in total solitude. It gives off zero light. It hides flawlessly against the black backdrop of space, like a phantom assassin cloaked in absolute invisibility. What makes it so unnerving is that this killer never sits still. It's barreling through our galaxy at tens of kilometers per second. You can't spot it with the naked eye. The only way astronomers can even confirm it's out there is by catching the telltale warp of gravitational lensing. Here's a chilling thought. If a black hole like this were quietly slipping into our solar system right now, humanity would be flying completely blind. We wouldn't get so much as a heads up, not until Earth was suddenly wrenched off its orbit and dragged headlong into its jaws, utterly blindsided. 3. WR-104, Genesis Countdown, A, loaded gun, finger on the trigger. About 8,000 light-years from Earth sits a binary star system named WR-104, home to a wildly volatile, hot-tempered Wolf-Rayet star. It's nearing the end of its life and could blow apart as a supernova at any time. What's truly chilling is the way this system is built. Gas and matter flung out by the two stars as they whirl around each other twist into a massive spiral, what astronomers call a death spiral. And that spiral's central axis happens to point almost directly at Earth. Once this star finally blows, it could unleash a devastating gamma-ray burst. That said, current research suggests the odds of that beam actually striking Earth are quite slim. Still, it's a sobering reminder of just how much raw destructive power a dying star can pack. 2. Stephenson 2-18, the Mind Bender. Stephenson 2-18 is the largest red supergiant star known to astronomy, full stop. To wrap your head around just how massive this thing is, let's run the numbers. Stephenson 2-18 boasts a radius roughly 2,150 times that of our Sunday. Swap out the sun and drop this beast into the center of our solar system, and its outer edge would instantly gobble up Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Jupiter. And it wouldn't stop there. It would keep ballooning outward and engulf Saturn's orbit too. Now think about light itself, the fastest thing in existence, which zips around the Earth in a mere 0.13 seconds. Yet a single beam of light trying to circle the rim of this monster, Stephenson 2-18, would need to push on for a grueling 8 to 9 hours straight. Stand it next to our sun, and the sun shrinks to a grain of sand. And Earth doesn't even rate as a speck of dust. Stack our planet's wealth, status, and petty squabbles up against something this size, and it all suddenly looks laughably, achingly small. 1. Ton. 6-18. The absolute abyss. Lord of the universe. Crack open every dictionary you own and hunt down the most powerful, most awe-inspiring, most terrifying words you can find. Stand this champion up against them, and every single word falls flat. This is Ton 6-18, an ultramassive black hole. Its mass clocks in somewhere between 40 and 66 billion times that of the Sunday. Its event horizon is so colossal that an astronaut flying at the speed of light straight toward its center would have to keep going for nearly a full week just to cross that line. Ton 6-18's gravity is so overpowering that it drags in staggering amounts of matter. The accretion disk swirling around it blazes with a brightness equal to 140 trillion suns. It's a quasar, the single brightest, most blinding, most magnificent light the universe has to offer. And yet, right at the center of that glittering throne lurks the most extreme, the darkest void the universe has ever produced. It doesn't just devour matter, its boundless gravity warps, twists, and gnaws away at space and time itself. At the very heart of Ton 6-18, time stops flowing the way we know it. Conclusion. The miracle called Earth. Picture scorching rains of liquid glass blasting sideways across the sky at supersonic speeds. Magnetic fields strong enough to dissolve your body down to its very atoms. Gamma-ray bursts unleashed by dying stars. Supermassive black holes hungry enough to swallow an entire galaxy whole. Take a hard, honest look at the vast universe, and you're forced to face an uncomfortable truth. The universe is no peaceful amusement park. It's actually a place littered with death traps, hidden dangers, and some of the most brutal hellscapes imaginable. But precisely because of that, stop and think for a moment. The fact that you and I get to sit here together right now, in this warm room, reading these words side by side, scrolling through our phones, breathing air with just the right mix of oxygen, soaking in a mild, gentle temperature. None of this should ever be taken for granted. To pull off this luxurious slice of peace, the universe had to line up billions upon billions of flawless coincidences. Our Earth, that pale, fragile blue dot, turns out to be an extraordinarily small, delicate, yet tenacious shelter floating in the cosmos. Surrounded by a universe crawling with these extreme monstrosities, the very fact that Earth and humanity exist at all is nothing short of an absolute miracle of probability. So go ahead, cherish every single second you get to live and breathe on this wondrous planet.